Pandukabhaya, 474–367 BCE, was king of Upatissa Nuwara and the first monarch of the Anuradhapura Kingdom and sixth over all of the island of Sri Lanka since the arrival of the Vijaya. He reigned from 437 BC to 367 BC. According to many historians and philosophers, he is the first truly Sri Lankan king since the Vijayan invasion, and also the king who ended the conflict between the Sinhala clan and local community, reorganizing the population. His story is one wrapped in myth and legend. Chitra and Inghagamani had been made aware of the prophecy at the time of their marriage and had promised to put to death any son that Chitra gave birth to. However, once Pandukabhaya was born, Chitra was unwilling to kill the infant, and so she decided to exchange babies with another woman who had given birth to a baby girl that same day. Chitra announced to her father and husband that she had given birth to a girl. Only her mother, Pandukabhaya, knew of the secret exchange. The woman who gave up her daughter took Prince Pandukabhaya to a nearby village called Dharamadalawa where he would be brought up as a herdsman's son. The first threat to Pandukabhaya's life came while he was being transported to Dharamadalawa. The woman who had exchanged infants with Chitra carried Prince Pandukabhaya to the village in a covered basket. Unfortunately, she ran into 9 of Chitra's brothers, the ones who had wanted their sister to be murdered for fear that her child would kill them. They asked her what she had in the basket and she replied that it contained food. Not satisfied with the answer, they asked her to open up the basket and show them its contents. Luckily, 2 wild boars happened to run past them, and they forgot about the basket in their eagerness to hunt the animals down. The baby was delivered to the herdsman safely. The 2 wild boars were commanders of Yaka tribe named Chitraraja and Kalawela in disguise to protect the prince. That same year, King Pandukabhaya died and Abhaya became his successor. He was not a great king, but he was certainly a kind one and he was well loved, especially by the poor. Several years went by and when Pandukabhaya was about 7 years old, rumors reached his 9 uncles about a boy in Dharamadalawa who supposedly was a herdsman's son, but who showed all signs of being of royal background. They suspected that this child may be their sister's son, because they had reason to believe that the little girl who was being brought up as a princess in the palace was not Chitra's daughter. They sent out soldiers to kill all boys in the village who were around the same age as their nephew. It was known that all the boys of Dharamadalawa bathed at a certain pond, and it was planned that they should be killed while they were bathing. The plan was executed and several young children were murdered. Pandukabhaya, however, had been hiding at the time, and so he escaped death. While Pandukabhaya's uncles were satisfied at the time that they had eliminated their nephew, some years later they became suspicious again when they heard stories of a village boy who looked more like a prince than a herdsman's son. They attempted to have him killed again, and the attempt failed once more. When Pandukabhaya was about 16 years old, Princess Chitra, fearing for her son's safety, arranged to have him live with a Brahmin named Pandula. Once he was old enough to become king, Pandukabhaya left Pandula, married his cousin Pali and fought his uncles to claim his right to the throne. 8 of his 10 uncles perished in the war, which lasted for 17 years. Abhaya, who had never fought against Pandukabhaya, and Girakandesiva, who was Pali's father, were not killed. He established an organized system of governance. Established a post called Nagara Guthaka to rule the city and named his uncle Abhaya to the post. Ordered the demarcation of all the villages in the island in his 10th year of reign. He was the first king to do so. Constructed 3 tanks, namely Abhayavwa, Gamanivwa, and Jayavwa. Pandukabhaya was a good king and reigned over Sri Lanka for 70 years, leaving the country in a prosperous state when he died.